Okay, we looked at the mixed marriages. Let's go to chapter 10. The people respond. Chapter 10, verse 1. Now Ezra had prayed, and when he had confessed, weeping and casting himself down before the house of God, there assembled unto him out of Israel a very great congregation of men and women and children, for the people wept very sore. And Shechanah, the son of Jeriel, one of the sons of Elam, answered and said unto Ezra, We have trespassed against our God, and have taken strange wives of the people of the land. Yet now there is hope in Israel concerning this thing. Now therefore let us make a covenant with our God to put away all the wives and such as are born of them, according to the counsel of my Lord, and of those that tremble at the commandment of our God, and let it be done according to the law. I wonder why God wanted these men and women to separate themselves from their wives or their husband and their children. I wonder why. Hopefully we'll get some kind of something out of this and find out why. Arise, for this matter belongeth unto thee. We also will be with thee. Be of good courage, and do it. Then arose Ezra, and made a chief priest, and the Levites, and all of Israel, to swear that they should do according to this word. And they swore. Then Ezra rose up from before the house of God, and went into the chamber of Johan, the son of Elizabeth. And when he came thither, he did eat no bread, or drink any water, for he mourned because of the transgressions of them that had been carried away. And they made proclamations without Judah and Jerusalem unto the children of captivity, that they should gather themselves together to Jerusalem, and that whosoever would not come within 3 days, according to the counsel of the priests and the elders, all his substance would be forfeited, and he himself separated from the congregation of those that had been carried away. Then all the men of Judah and Benjamin gathered themselves together into Jerusalem within 3 days. It was the 9th month, on the 20th day of the month, and all the people sat in the streets of the house of God, trembling because of this matter, and for the great rain. And Ezra the priest stood up and said unto them, You have transgressed, and have taken strange wives, to increase the trespass of Israel. Now therefore make confession unto the Lord of your fathers, and do his pleasure, and separate yourselves from the people of the land, and from the strange wives. Then all the congregation answered and said in a loud voice, As thou hast said, we must do. So the people are many, and it is a time of much rain, and we are not able to stand without neither. Is this a work of 1 day or 2? For we are many that have transgressed in this thing. Let now our rulers of all the congregation stand, and let them all which have taken strange wives in our cities come an appointed time, and with them the elders of every city and the judges thereof, until the fierce wrath of our God for this matter be turned from us. Only Jonathan, the son of Asherel, and Jehiah, the son of Tychaviah, were employed about this matter, and Meshullam and Shabetha the Levite helped them, and the children of captivity did so, and Ezra the priest and a certain chief of the fathers after the house of their fathers, and all of them by their names were separated and sat down in the first day of the 10th month to examine the matter. And they made an end with all the men that had taken strange wives by the first day of the first month. And among the sons of the priests there were found that had taken strange wives, namely of the sons of Joshua, the son of Josedekah, and his brethren, Manasseh and Elzar, and Jarib, and Gedelah, and they gave their hands that they would put away their wives, and bringing guiltless, they offered a ram of this flock for their trespass. Now, I'm not going to go on down and read any more on this chapter, because it is those who had intermarriage, and all it is just saying a bunch of names that I can't pronounce, that trespassed in this law. Now, let's go look at the commandment. Let's go to Deuteronomy, and we want chapter 7, and we want 1 through 3. When the Lord thy God shall bring thee into the land whither thou goest to possess it, and hath cast out many nations before thee, the Hittites, and the Girgashites, and the Amorites, and the Canaanites, and the Perizzites, and the Hivites, and the Jebusites, 7 nations greater and mightier than thou. Here we go with them mics again. And when the Lord thy God shall deliver them before thee, thou shalt smite them, and utterly destroy them. Thou shalt make no covenant with them, nor show mercy unto them. Neither shalt thou make marriage with them. Thy daughters thou shalt not give unto his sons, and his daughters thou shalt take unto thy sins. Let's go on. For they will turn away thy sons from following me, that they may serve their gods. So will the anger of the Lord be kindled against you, and destroy thee suddenly. Well, now we know, we can see why God said, do not intermarry. Now let's go look at one more thing. We want 2 Chronicles chapter 34 and verse 31. And the king stood in his place and made a covenant before the Lord, to walk after the Lord, and to keep his commandments, and his testimonies, and his statutes, and with all his heart, and with all his soul, to perform the words of the covenant which are written in this book. It's talking about this book here. Now, I want you to notice that we should keep God's statutes, along with his testimony and his commandments. This is not talking about man's commandments, man's statutes. Think about what is more important, the government of this world or the God that we serve. I say, and I hope you agree with me, that God's word, God's commandments, God's testimony, and God's statutes are more important than anything that this government can ever give us or offer us or make us do. Stand up to the government. They do have their place, but then again, if we live by God's statutes, God's commandments, and God's testimony, then we would not have to have a government.